Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am finally coming at you with my review of the brand new Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. This came out probably a couple weeks ago now, and I had a lot of people message me asking me if I'm going to try it. Yes, but I never, if you're new to my channel, come on and do a single solid review of a foundation product having only used it once or as a first impression. I really like to test foundation products out extensively before I come on and give you my review, because I might love it with an SPF and a powder and hate it with all the other ones. And to me, that is not a great product for me. I want it to work with everything. So I try it with everything for a long time, and then I come on and tell you. So I have tested this. I have probably worn it about 10 times now. I have tested with notes on 8 different days and tested it with all kinds of powders and SPFs. Let's talk about what this is. This is a skin tint. It is $49. It comes in a 1 fluid ounce packaging, and it is something that looks like, I think she said it looked like a pebble. To me, it reminds me of an egg. And it has a flat side right here where you can lay it down and it won't roll. I do not love the packaging. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. I like something that stands up versus laying down. Her foundation is like this as well. It lays down versus standing up, and that was one of the things I didn't like about that. This comes in 18 shades, and again, it's $49. I am in the shade T7, which I just guessed on. I watched Lisa Eldridge's video. She was 6. I saw what it looked like on her. I felt like I needed something a little bit darker, and T7 is described as a neutral undertone. Helpful, isn't it? But there are a lot of pictures on the website with different models to show you how it looks. I just guessed, and it works perfectly for me. So T7 is definitely my shade. And this says that the unique hybrid formula of this tint works to seamlessly even tone, lift shadows, tone down redness, and boost luminosity. Think your skin, but on its best day. It's ultra lightweight, delivers a burst of hydration, also delivers blurring pigments to perfect and even the skin tone. Looking at the ingredients on the box, water is the first ingredient. It has coconut alkanes as the second. So if you are sensitive to that, this might be one to skip because it is very high up on the list. Glycerin, it does have some silicones in it. Silica, which I love for the blurring effect. Modified cornstarch, another thing that I know a lot of people can be sensitive to, so pay attention to that. And then it has some oils, sunflower seed oil, prickly pear seed oil, castor oil. It also has squalane with an A. So a lot of moisturizing ingredients and some that you may be sensitive to. So I always recommend checking out the ingredients before you purchase something. When this first came in, I was like, man, this is small. And honestly, my brain went to thinking tinted moisturizers or skin tints. I feel like they always came in a bigger tube. And some of them do. For instance, my Chantecaille tinted moisturizer, my NARS tinted moisturizer, this is 1.7 ounce, this is 1.9 ounce. But then some of them, like I looked at my Bare Minerals, my Make Beauty Diffused Dew, my Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint, and these are all 1 ounce. So I was like, oh, okay, well maybe 1 ounce is kind of normal. So I got over the size. I think that was just something mentally that I was like, no, it's supposed to be bigger. I will very quickly swatch this and put it up against a couple of my other tints that I use so you can see how the color works out if you happen to be the same as me and others. This is T7 in the Lisa Eldridge. This is number 7 in the Hourglass tint. So it's warmer. This is definitely more neutral, but it's still in the same vein of light medium. This right here is number 5 in the Bare Minerals, which is also warmer. The Lisa Eldridge is definitely the most neutral. And then one more, this is Nude in the Chantecaille, which is the peachiest of them all. But if you happen to be any of those top 3, hopefully that will help you out in how it compares to the shade that I wear. So let's go ahead and jump into the important part. How does this look on the skin? How does it wear? What does it work best with? And we will do that right now. All I have on my skin right now is my sunscreen. I used my Ultraviolet Supreme Screen Hydrating Facial Sunscreen. And then I have a little bit of corrector underneath my eyes. Just so you can see what we're working with. I do have a little bit of redness, more so on this side. Pretty par for the course, normal day for me. I'm gonna use a brush. I have two favorites, my It Cosmetics 115, which is just a favorite all the time. And then this is the It Cosmetics Big Kabuki brush. I don't think they sell this anymore, but anything like big and kind of fluffy like this, for some reason I really like it. It doesn't cause the bristles to get like all clumped together. Like the product doesn't really stay in this brush, which is nice because other skin tints, I can't say that about. It would make the brush unusable after like 1 or 2 times without me having to wash it. I don't have that issue with this one. So again, I am in the shade T7. Shake it up real good. It is meant to be. You can hear the little ball in there. So here's the funny part. The instructions say 2 drops for all over light coverage. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, that was 3. And then dot it around your face. I mean, it's kind of laughable because this is not enough for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, but I'm gonna dot just a little bit around my face and then stipple it in. Doesn't do that much. I'm gonna dot some more. I have tried this with my fingers. I don't find I get any more coverage with my fingers than I do with a brush, and I just prefer a brush. I have not tried it with a sponge. I do not like very runny serum-like foundations with sponges because it just soaks up too much of the product, and I feel like it's a waste. It's not to say you can't use a sponge. It's just not my preference. So I used all 3 drops on this side of the face. I cannot get my preferred look with 2 drops for the entire face. They do say that once you have done 2 drops on the entire face, you can add more where you need more coverage and build it up. Totally agree on that front. I just think I would need to add so much more to 2 drops that I just need to start out with like 5 to 6. That's what I have come to find out, that really about 6 drops is what works for what I want to get out of this. If I just use 2, I feel like I might as well just stick with my SPF and stick some powder over it. So this is 3 drops. And I want to point out the biggest thing that I see with this foundation upon first application. The only thing that's different from this side of my face to this side of my face is that this side is more even. It does not look like there's makeup on this side. The finish is not any different from this side. It is just evened out. My redness is more covered. That's it. That is the main difference I see when I apply this. So I'm going to take 3 more drops, finish up this side, and see if we need to build it up anywhere. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that my redness was a little bit more on this side to begin with because I can see a little bit more through the same amount of tint than I can on this side. Only because I want to show if it's buildable, I'm going to add another drop, but this would be fine for me. I do think using drops out of this versus squeezing it out is the way to go, regardless of how many you use, because if you just squeeze the product out, you are likely going to have too much and it's just going to be wasteful. So I'm just going to put it right here where I'm the most red and build it up, which it did. And hopefully it'll come across on camera. I probably didn't even need a whole drop, but I am not good enough to just squeeze out a half a drop. So this is 7 drops of the T7. And I really just want y'all to concentrate, considering I'm getting up close enough for y'all to see my nose hairs, on how skin-like this looks right now. No different, in my view, than when I came on with just my SPF, other than an even out skin tone with a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to finish up my makeup and we'll come back and see how everything works on top of it. I'll talk about all the SPFs I used, all the powders I used, and my final thoughts. Okay, so this is with all of my makeup on. I did my makeup like I normally always do it today, but I did try a couple of different things when I was testing it, which I'll go over. But all powder products, cream, highlight, well, okay, powder, bronzer, and blush. Cream highlight. The powder I use today is the Fit Glow Beauty Bamboo Powder. So real quick, I'll go through the SPFs that I used with this, the powders that I used with this. Obviously, my ultraviolet. I tried it with my Numbuzzin. I will have all of these listed and linked down below too. I tried it with my Eucerin Oil Control Dry Touch Sun Gel Cream. All of these are untinted. And I tried it with my La Roche-Posay and Thelios UV Moon 400. So 4 different untinted sunscreens. I did not want any tint from SPFs to alter the way this tint laid on my skin or the coverage that it provided. And then I used, obviously, my Fit Glow powder, my Say Air Set, because I wanted to try it with something a little more glowy in itself. The Chanel loose powder. And then the 2 pressed powders I tried it with were my Aeropress corn powder. This is the old packaging and formula, but they still have this available. Again, just new packaging and formula. And then the Make Beauty pressed powder, translucent, light, medium. And I will go ahead and tell you, I did not have a day where this did not look good. All of the combinations that I tried it with looked good. The only thing I will say is that I do feel like this works a little bit better if we are on a flawless scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the most flawless. It's a little bit higher up on the scale with the loose powders that I used versus the pressed powders. Out of the loose powders that I used, the Fit Glow and the Chanel were my favorite. And again, it's like saying these were a 10 on the flawless scale, whereas the other powders were an 8. It wasn't like it looked bad under them. It's just they looked the best on me underneath the loose powders. Now, I did try this without setting it. I tried it one day with no powder whatsoever. I tried it with a cream blush, no bronzer, no highlight. Like I just used this concealer, a cream blush, and that's it. At first, it was really pretty. For the first 2 to 3 hours, it was really pretty. I was out and about that day. I was out with my girls. I went to the bathroom at a store we were at. I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my word. Why did my children not tell me I looked like I had just run a marathon? I looked way too shiny. So I pulled out my La Mer pressed powder that I always carry in my purse, did a little bit of touch up in the T-zone, and I was good to go for the rest of the day. I mean, I did not touch the lower cheek. I did not touch the upper cheek. I truly just did like my lower forehead, on the sides of my nose, my chin, and my upper lip. So while I don't think this needs to be set all over, I do think it needs to be set a little bit, at least on me. And it's also going to help with the transfer. I did work out in this a couple of days. I know a lot of people are like, I can't believe you shouldn't wear makeup to the gym. Y'all, I have always worn makeup to the gym. I have been working out as far as lifting weights and going to the gym diligently for 20 years. And I always wear makeup because it always ends up being in the middle of the day. It's just how my schedule works out. I have never broken out from it. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it works for me. And it is a good test for me as to how certain foundations are going to hold up. And it did hold up really well, and some of them were very intense sweat days. I wore this on average between 9 and 11 hours. I did not have any patchiness. It did not wear off. I didn't have any dry spots in the amount of time I was testing this, so I can't say how it works on that. But if I had to guess, I would say it works really well. If you are very, very, very oily, this might not be good for you. But I also can't say that if you prep accordingly and use an oil control primer that it wouldn't work. It's not overly dewy. As you saw in the demo, it really just kept the finish that I already had on my skin. So if I were to use a more mattifying sunscreen, then it would present itself as more matte than it did today. What I have come to find out is that my favorite way to wear it is how I'm wearing it today, where I lightly powder, light. I have found I don't need much powder, but I do need some. Maybe do like a hydrating spray at the end, and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. My final thoughts on this, I really don't know who wouldn't enjoy it if you're looking for something that is a sheer to light to medium coverage because of how well it wears, because of how good it looks, because it truly does not look like makeup on your skin. It is very similar to the finish and feel that the Chantecaille cushion gives to me, whereas I just feel like I don't have a single thing on my face. I feel like it doesn't look like I have anything on my face as far as foundation. The Chantecaille cushion's a little more blurring, but other than that, they're very similar in the fact that they just look near flawless on the skin. I will say, and I haven't gone to look at what I would replace it with, but I do think this is now in my top 5 favorite. That's how much I love it. It is flawless, beautiful. I wore it for 8 days straight and I never felt like, oh, I have to wear this again. Sometimes when I'm testing a foundation, I'm like, oh, I don't want to wear it again. I want to wear something different. I'm tired of wearing this. I never felt like that. I was never tired of wearing it. I looked forward to applying it every day because I knew that my skin was going to look really, really good all day long. There really isn't a downside to it. Maybe if you're used to the tinted moisturizers that come in a bigger bottle, like I talked about in the intro, that might be a downside to you, but to me, it's not. Like, it's totally worth it to me. This is something I envision finishing and repurchasing. It's so lightweight for the upcoming warmer months. I'm going out of town next week and 2 weeks after that, and I really think I'm only taking this because it is so lightweight, because it works in warm weather, because it's flawless. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, I'll have everything listed and linked that I have on my face that I've talked about using with this down in the description box. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.